6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi, assisted by Sanjay, and read by Geetanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. State employees to get the remaining 5,000 rupees of the 10,000 rupee allowance before the 10th of April. The government says no election postponements expected despite the electoral amendments. The cabinet approval is granted to digitize the entire foreign employment sector. The Buddha Sasana Ministry issues statement over New Year auspicious times. The Prime Minister to address the premier Chinese conference in Boa. Foreign news, Israel cancels White House visit after US doesn't block UN ceasefire vote. And in sports, it's cricket, Sri Lanka rise to the 6th place of the WTC standings after the win over Bangladesh. State Minister of Finance Dr. Ranjit Siyamlapitiya announced that the full 10,000 rupee allowance increase to the public servants in the 2024 budget will be added to the April salary. The minister said that after paying the salaries of all government employees in the month of March, the salary for the month of April will be paid before the 10th of April in view of the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Of the 10,000 rupee proposed in the 2024 budget, 5,000 rupees is currently given to all public servants. Dr. Siyamlapitiya said that the balance 5,000 rupees will be paid from April. Therefore, the full 10,000 rupee increase will be added to the salary from April onwards. He also said that 2.8 million low-income families will be given 10 kilos of rice each in April and May, free of charge. The minister also said that it currently costs 100,000 million rupees annually to pay salaries to the government employees, and with the increase of 5,000 rupees from April, the government will have to bear an additional amount of 13,000 million rupees to 14,000 million rupees. Also, the 2,500 rupees promised for pensioners in the budget too will be given to them from April, he added. Justice, Prisoner Affairs and Constitutional Reforms Minister Dr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa assured that the election amendment bill presented to Parliament are not anticipated to result in any postponement of elections. The minister highlighted that promises to combat corruption and reform the electoral system have been made in presidential elections since 1994, but none have been fulfilled. He also noted that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has already submitted amendments aimed at tackling corruption and implementing a proportional election system. The minister stated this matter at a press briefing held at the Presidential Media Centre yesterday. Minister Manusha Nanayakkara says that the Cabinet of Ministers have granted approval to digitize the entire foreign employment sector. While noting this will be implemented at the earliest, the minister stressed that this will help liberate the foreign employment sector from the clutches of traffickers and fraudsters, and will improve communications between migrant workers and authorities, and will also improve grievance handling procedures. The minister said this while participating in a discussion with journalists in the Matale district on the sidelines of the Jayagamu Sri Lanka program held in Matale. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs has requested the public to follow the official list of auspicious times issued by the State Astrologers Committee for the 2024 Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Sri Lanka's 42-member group of astrologers employed by the Cultural Affairs Ministry was split for the first time on deciding the best date for New Year celebrations, with some warnings of disaster and accusing rivals of misinterpreting the position of stars. The majority set the dawn of the traditional Sinhala and Tamil New Year on the night of April 13th. However, some claim the time was wrong and would lead the country into disaster. However, the Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs has yesterday issued a special statement regarding the matter while urging the public to follow the official list of auspicious times issued by the State Astrologers Committee. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena will be the chief guest at China's premier annual international conference in Boa in Hainan at the invitation of the Chinese government. The BOA conference theme will be Asia, the World, Common Challenges, Shared Responsibilities. It will be attended by several heads of state and foreign delegates. Prime Minister Gunawardene is scheduled to meet President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Li Qiang are the senior ministers as well as office bearers of the Chinese Communist Party to discuss issues pertaining to bilateral relations and development cooperation. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Badulla Hospital has become a teaching hospital along with the Faculty of Medicine. This hospital is attached to the new medical faculty of the Uvavelassa University. A special ceremony was held at the Badulla Library Auditorium to mark the enrollment of new students. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
In Watch Live this morning, despite the showers at several places in the country, the National Meteorological Centre today issued a caution level warning that the temperature felt on the human body is expected to increase in 11 districts. Accordingly, the increase in temperature warnings is expected in the western, northwestern and Sabaragama provinces as well as Mana, Vavuniya, Anuradhapura and Galle districts. According to the heat index advisory, Mana, Vavuniya, Anuradhapura, Putlam, Kurunegala, Gampaha, Kegalle, Colombo, Kalutara, Ratnapura and Galle were mentioned as caution levels. People may suffer heat cramps and exhaustion, and continuity activity in the heat or sun could lead to heat stroke, the advisory warns. And that came to you in Watch Light.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. Israel cancels White House visit after U.S. doesn't block UN ceasefire vote. The U.S. and Japan are to strengthen military ties. A Dragon Ball, first theme park to be built in Saudi Arabia. The UN Security Council has passed a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. In a change in position, the U.S. refrained from vetoing the measure, which also calls for the release of hostages. The U.S. move signals diversions with Israel or Israel's offensive in Gaza, although the White House insists it's not a policy shift. In response, Israel has cancelled their delegation's planned visit to the White House this week. Japan and the United States are in talks to boost military cooperation as they eye a growing threat from China. A Japan government spokesman said the two countries are discussing increased integration and cooperation. Reports suggest that U.S. operations in the country will be seriously upgraded as Washington looks to counter any potential threat from China. Saudi Arabia has announced it will build a theme park based on the famed Japanese animated series Dragon Ball, sparking mixed reactions from fans. It will feature a 229.6 feet dragon at its center and at least 30 rides. The firm behind the project says, and the park would be the world's first such attraction based on the popular media franchise. The announcement was met with some criticism from fans citing Saudi Arabia's human rights record. Back to the headlines of the world news. Israel cancels White House visits after U.S. doesn't block UN ceasefire vote. The U.S. and Japan are to strengthen military ties. Dragon Ball, first theme park to be built in Saudi Arabia. And that ends World News.
Development News.
The Agriculture Ministry says the first ever solar tunnel dryer technology, which was introduced to dry grain seeds including maize, paddy, green gram, cowpea, sesame, finger millet and black seed was successful. The new solar-powered system was inaugurated recently at Nelukkulam in Vaunia. The entire warehouse is covered with glass so that natural sunlight and solar radiation are continuously available. Even at night, the optimum temperature required for drying the seeds can be obtained by using solar energy without any cost. Under this method, the seeds are completely protected from solar ultraviolet rays. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Cricket news. Sri Lanka have made a huge move up the latest ICC World Test Championship or WTC 2023-2025 standings following their resounding victory against Bangladesh in the first test on Monday. In their first ever test assignment at the Sylhet International Cricket Stadium, Sri Lanka defeated Bangladesh by a massive 328 runs. The win lifted Sri Lanka from the bottom of the WTC standings to join 6th with Bangladesh. The outcome resulted in Sri Lanka securing 12 points in 3 games and points percentage of 33.33 ahead of South Africa 25% and England 17.5%, who are currently at the bottom of the table. And that was sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Coconut Development Authority says that an income of 3,439 million rupees was earned in February this year by exporting coconut water from Sri Lanka. According to the data from the CDA, the amount earned by exporting coconut water in February 2023 is 2,705 million rupees. There has been an increase in export income of 734 million rupees by the pre-spring months of this year compared to last year, CDA Chairman Professor Roshan Pereira said. And that was business news.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The Commissioner General of Excise says that revenue generated by the Department of Excise has increased by 38.5% in February this year compared to the previous year. He also mentioned that due to the increase in the price of alcohol, the production of alcohol has decreased by an amount of around 657,000 litres in the month of January this year compared to the same month in 2023. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
Several spell showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Polonnaruwa district. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and central provinces during the afternoon or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the southern province and in the Ampara and Monaragala districts. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and Nuwa provinces and in the Kaluthara, Galle and Matra districts during the morning. That was the weather report. And prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. State employees to get the remaining 5,000 rupees after 10,000 rupee allowance before the 10th of April. The government says no election postponements expected despite the electoral amendments. The cabinet approval is granted to digitize the entire foreign employment sector. The Buddha Sasana Ministry issues statement over the New Year auspicious times. The Prime Minister to address the Premier Chinese Conference in Boa. Foreign news, Israel cancels White House visit after US doesn't block UN ceasefire vote. And in sports, it's cricket, Sri Lanka rise to the 6th place of the WTC standings after their win over Bangladesh. Well, with that, we can conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's over to Sound the Thumb on the other side. to keep you entertained this Tuesday morning. Over to you, Soundi, and a very good morning.